Okay, so you're getting ready for a coding interview
Mm-hmm.
and using cracking the coding interviews.
Smart move.
That's what we're diving deep into today.
Yeah.
Your secret weapon to not just surviving those technical challenges.
But acing them.
Exactly.
What I think is so fascinating about this book
Yeah.
is that it doesn't just like throw algorithms at you.
Right.
It kind of gets into the mind of the interviewer.
Oh, totally.
Particularly these big tech companies like Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a playbook for understanding their game.
But like, why do they love those whiteboard tests so much?
Yeah, well-
It's not how we usually code.
Exactly. And the book kind of digs into that.
Yeah.
They want to see your thought process, like in action.
Yeah.
Can you break down the problem?
Right.
Communicate your approach clearly.
Yep.
Adapt when things get tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a test of problem-solving
It
stamina.
really is.
Yeah.
So it's not just about spitting out code.
It's not just about that.
It's about like showing you can think
Yeah.
like a developer that they would want on their team.
Absolutely. And the book really dives into these nuances of the tech interview process. And one thing that really stood out to me
Okay.
was this concept of the bar raiser.
The bar raiser.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's an interviewer
Okay.
whose entire role is to maintain a consistent hiring standard
Interesting.
across the company.
Oh.
And they're not necessarily even from the team you're interviewing for,
Oh, wow.
but they have like veto power
Oh, my
to
God.
make sure that anyone that gets hired
Wow.
meets like this high bar.
So even if you impress your direct interviewers,
Yeah. You
there's this
better know.
extra layer
Yeah, this extra layer of scrutiny.
to make sure you're like top tier candidate material.
Yeah, to make sure that you're a true fit.
Wow, that's intense.
It is, but it also explains why,
Yeah.
you know, these companies like Google are known for
Yeah,
attracting and retaining this incredible talent.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the why
Yeah.
behind these sometimes weird interview techniques.
Right.
But let's get into the what.
Yeah, let's do it.
The book covers a lot of ground, obviously, when it comes to technical skills.
It does, and it all starts with a solid foundation in data structures.
Okay.
These are like the building blocks of any good algorithm.
Right.
And the book gives this rapid-fire overview of all the essentials.
Yeah.
Stacks, queues, trees, graphs, hash tables, you name it.
It's like having that cheat sheet for your brain
Totally.
of how each structure works and when to use it.
Exactly. But it goes beyond just defining them.
Okay.
It shows you how to implement these structures in
Yeah.
clever ways. Like, for example,
Yeah.
there's a section on implementing a queue using 2 stacks.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
A queue using 2 stacks?
It's a classic.
That sounds complicated.
It is a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But the book breaks down the logic step by step.
Okay.
And it's like a classic coding interview question.
Got it.
And walking through that implementation
Yeah.
shows that you can think flexibly.
Okay. And apply your knowledge in these like unexpected ways.
So it's a great point. It's not just memorizing the definition.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how those structures work at a deeper level.
Absolutely. And that's where the discussion of algorithm approaches comes in.
Okay.
So the book covers strategies like brute force,
Mm-hmm.
optimization techniques, and dynamic programming.
Okay. Dynamic programming.
Yeah.
That always sounds kind of intimidating.
It can be, but think of it like this.
Okay.
Dynamic programming is about breaking down
Uh-huh.
a complex problem into smaller overlapping subproblems.
Okay.
And then you store the solution to those subproblems.
Wow.
So you don't have to recalculate them over and over.
So it's like having a cheat sheet
It's kind of like a cheat
for
sheet.
your algorithm,
Yeah.
making it super efficient
Yes.
by reusing previous work.
The book gives a great example
Okay.
of this with the shortest path problem
Mm-hmm.
on a social network.
Okay.
So imagine trying to find the shortest connection path.
So between 2 people in a network with millions of users,
Yeah,
brute force would take forever.
right. You'd be checking like every single connection path.
You'd be checking every single one.
Not very efficient.
Not efficient at all.
Whoa.
But dynamic programming allows you to find that shortest path much faster.
Okay.
By breaking the problem down and storing those
Yeah.
results of those smaller calculations.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like finding the most efficient road on a map
Yeah.
without having to drive down every single street.
Precisely. And this concept of optimization
Yeah.
becomes even more critical when we start talking about
Ah.
system design and scalability.
Ooh, okay.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about building systems
Right.
that can handle mass amounts of data and traffic.
This is where it feels like we're stepping into the shoes of like a tech giant.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
no longer just solving like small isolated problems,
Right.
but designing like the infrastructure for huge complex systems.
Exactly. And the book provides a framework
Okay.
for approaching these large-scale design challenges.
Okay.
The first step,
Mm-hmm.
which may seem obvious,
Yeah.
but often gets overlooked,
Okay.
is understanding
Yeah.
the requirements and constraints.
Right.
What are the user needs?
Okay.
What are the technical limitations?
Uh-huh.
What are the potential bottlenecks?
It's like planning a city.
It is.
You need to know, like, the population, the geography,
Yeah,
the resources available
totally.
before you can start designing, like, streets and buildings.
A perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And then comes the fun part.
Okay.
Sketching out the major components of your system.
Okay.
So we're talking about
Yeah.
load balancers to distribute traffic,
Mm-hmm.
caches to speed up data retrieval,
Okay.
databases to store all that information,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the algorithms that tie it all together.
It's like building with Lego bricks,
It is.
but instead of plastic, we're using, like, servers,
Yep.
databases, and
Yeah.
lines of code to
Exactly.
create something really impressive.
And the book provides concrete examples
Okay.
to walk you through this process.
Well.
It shows you how to approach designing a web crawler
Uh-huh.
that can efficiently explore the vastness of the internet,
Why?
or a personal financial manager
Yeah.
that can analyze your spending habits
Interesting.
and make recommendations.
It's like having a behind-the-scenes look
It is.
at how those systems are actually built in the real world.
And that real-world application is what makes it so valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just these abstract concepts. It's about giving you the tools and the mindset
Uh-huh.
to tackle the challenges that you'll actually face as a software engineer.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we've covered data structures, algorithms.
Yeah.
We even touched on system design.
We did.
It feels like we've already gone through a whole computer science course
I know.
in the past few minutes.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
and we're just getting started.
Oh, no.
There's still so much to unpack.
Okay.
From object-oriented design principles to those dreaded behavioral questions.
Oh, yeah, those behavioral questions, the
Yeah.
ones that make you sweat even more than the technical ones.
I know, right?
Sometimes.
But don't worry, the book has got you covered there too.
Okay, good.
So it provides frameworks for structuring your responses.
Okay.
It helps you tell compelling stories about your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And it even offers tips on how to negotiate your dream offer
Okay.
once you've aced those technical rounds.
Sounds like we've got a lot more ground to cover
We
in
do.
part 2 of this deep dive.
Yeah,
This is turning into a crash course
it is.
in becoming a coding interview superstar.
I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah, make sure to join us for the next part,
Okay.
where we'll delve even deeper into the world of cracking the coding interview.
Awesome. I'm excited. Welcome back to our deep dive into cracking the coding interview.
Yeah,
Last time we laid the groundwork,
we did.
covering data structures, algorithms,
Mm-hmm.
and even got a taste of what it takes to design large-scale systems.
It's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And we saw how the book goes beyond just textbook definition.
Yeah.
It provides those practical insights
Yeah.
and real-world examples to help you understand the why behind the what.
Totally. Like you were saying,
Yeah.
that example of implementing a queue using 2 stacks.
Yeah.
It's a classic interview question.
It is.
That really tests your ability to think outside the box.
Yeah, it shows that you understand those underlying principles
Uh-huh.
of data structures and can apply your knowledge in creative ways.
That's the key, creative ways.
Yeah, and speaking of creative applications,
Yeah.
the book has a whole section on bit manipulation.
It does.
Okay, I'll admit that's an area I tend to shy away from.
Yeah.
It feels like a dark art.
It can be a little intimidating.
A little bit, yeah, all those ones and zeros swirling around.
I understand that feeling, but
Yeah.
bit manipulation can be incredibly powerful,
Okay.
especially when you need to optimize for performance. At the most basic level, computers operate on bits.
Right.
So if you can manipulate them directly,
Uh-huh.
you can sometimes achieve incredible efficiency.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But can you give me like a concrete example
Sure.
of where bit manipulation would be useful in the real world?
So imagine you're building a graphics engine for a video game.
Okay.
You need to perform tons of calculations
Mhm.
involving colors,
Right.
which are often represented as RGB values,
Okay.
red, green, and blue.
Right.
Each of these color components
Yeah.
is typically stored as an 8-bit value.
So you've got 24 bits in total representing a single color.
Exactly.
Wow.
Now, let's say you want to make a particular color brighter.
Yeah.
One way to do that
Yeah.
is to increase the value of each color component.
Okay, so you're adding...
But that involves multiple operations,
Yeah.
adding to each of the red, green, and blue values.
Yeah, that sounds like it could slow things down
It could.
if you're doing it for millions of pixels.
Exactly, especially in those real-time applications.
Yeah.
But with bit manipulation,
Yeah.
you can do it in a single operation.
Oh, wow.
You can use a bitwise or OR operation
Okay.
with a carefully chosen mask
Mhm.
to increase the values of all 3 color components simultaneously.
Wait, so you can modify all 24 bits representing that color
I can.
with just one bitwise operation?
With just one operation.
That's incredible.
It is.
That can lead to significant performance gains,
huge gains,
especially in real-time applications like video games.
Yeah, where every millisecond counts.
Right, okay, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the appeal
Yeah.
of bit manipulation,
He is powerful.
like a secret language that unlocks a whole new level of efficiency.
It's like a superpower.
It is a superpower.
For coding.
Kind of.
Yeah, and the book does a great job of demystifying that language.
Okay.
So it walks you through the different bitwise operators.
Okay.
NDR or XOR or not.
Yeah.
Shows you how to use them to solve various problems.
Like that example in the book
Yes.
of determining if a number is a power of 2
Mm-hmm.
using a single line of code with bitwise operations.
Yes.
That's just mind-blowing.
I know, it's elegant.
It's very elegant.
Yeah, it's a testament to the power of understanding how bits work.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about another key area of system design.
Love it.
We touched on this last time,
We did.
but the book goes into even more depth,
Mm-hmm.
providing a framework for architecting these large-scale systems.
Right. It's about thinking beyond
Yeah.
just individual algorithms
Mhm.
and considering how all the pieces fit together
Right.
to create a system that can handle millions of users and terabytes of data.
It's like moving from building a single house to designing an entire city.
Another great analogy.
I like my analogies.
They're good. And just like with city planning,
Yeah.
you need to start with a clear understanding of the requirements and constraints.
Right. So we're back to that again.
It's always about those requirements.
Yeah.
What are the user needs? What are the performance expectations? What are the potential bottlenecks?
You need to know what kind of city you're building. A bustling metropolis
Yeah,
or like a quiet suburban town
totally.
before you can start designing the infrastructure.
You got it.
Okay.
And once you have that understanding, the
Yeah.
book walks you through
Yeah.
this process of identifying the key components.
Okay.
Databases, load balancers, caches,
G'day.
how they all work together to create a
Yeah.
seamless user experience.
It's like piecing together a puzzle.
It is.
But instead of like a pretty picture,
Right.
you're creating a system that can power a social network or an e-commerce platform.
Or anything really, any large-scale application.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just those abstract diagrams.
Oh,
It
right.
provides concrete examples
Yep.
like designing a web crawler
Mm-hmm.
that can efficiently navigate the vast expanse of the internet, or a personal financial manager that can analyze your spending habits
Oh, yeah.
and offer personalized recommendations.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like they're giving you a behind-the-scenes tour
Right.
of how these complex systems are actually built in the real world.
That's one of the things that makes this book so valuable.
I agree.
It bridges that gap between theoretical concepts and practical application.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked bits, we've talked systems,
We have.
but let's not forget about a crucial aspect of coding,
Oh, yes.
testing.
Testing is so important.
Yes, no matter how elegant your algorithm
Yeah.
or how impressive your system design,
Right.
it's all for naught if your code doesn't work.
It's all for nothing if it doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, testing is essential.
Yeah.
Not just to ensure correctness,
Mm-hmm.
but also to demonstrate to interviewers
Yeah.
that you are a thorough and methodical developer.
It's like showing them that you care about quality.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to throw code over the wall and hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just hacking something together. You're
Yeah.
building something
Yeah.
that's robust and well-tested.
Precisely. And the book covers various testing strategies.
It does.
From black box testing,
Yeah.
where you focus on the functionality without knowing the internal workings,
Right.
to white box testing,
Yeah.
where you examine the internal structure of the code
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that each component is functioning correctly.
You got it.
So black box is about the what, and white box is about the how.
Exactly.
Hey,
And the
close.
book highlights the trade-offs between these different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
So automated testing can be great for catching common errors.
Yeah.
But it can't replace the human intuition of manual testing.
It's like having a spell checker.
Oh, that's a good one.
It can catch typos,
Yeah.
but it can't tell you if your writing is actually engaging and persuasive.
A perfect analogy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So when it comes to testing in a coding interview,
Yeah.
it's about demonstrating your understanding of these different approaches.
Uh-huh.
and choosing the right one for the task at hand.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
It's about being adaptable and knowing when to use which approach.
It's about showing them you're not just a coder, but a quality assurance expert.
Totally.
You care about building systems that are both functional and robust.
And that's a mindset that will serve you well, not just in coding interviews,
Right.
but throughout your entire career.
For sure, as a software engineer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
A lot.
From the intricacies of bit manipulation to the vast world of system design and the importance of thorough testing.
It's all connected.
It is. It feels like we're well on our way to cracking the coding interview.
We are. I think so.
Making great progress.
We are making great progress.
But there's still more to explore.
Okay.
We need to delve into object-oriented design principles.
Those tricky behavioral questions and some special topics like advanced algorithms and salary negotiation.
Sounds like we have a jam-packed part 3 ahead of us.
We do.
This deep dive is turning out to be like a coding boot camp.
It is like a crash course.
Compressed into a single episode.
Exactly. And we're excited to continue this journey with you.
Awesome.
Be sure to join us for the final part where we'll equip you with even more knowledge and confidence to ace those coding interviews.
I can't wait. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into cracking the coding interview.
It's been a journey.
It has. We've covered so much ground already.
I know.
Data structures, algorithms, system design.
We've hit all the big ones.
Even bit manipulation.
Even that.
We really have gone from like the building blocks of code to the big picture thinking.
Yeah, from the micro to the macro.
Behind these complex systems.
And through it all, the book emphasizes that it's not about memorization.
Right.
It's about understanding why things work the way they do.
The why behind the what.
Exactly. And developing that problem-solving mindset.
It's so key.
It really sets you apart.
Yeah, and that mindset is especially important when it comes to object-oriented design.
It really is.
Okay, the book does a great job of like distilling the core principles of this paradigm.
It breaks it down.
Inheritance, polymorphism, and design patterns.
The big 3.
Into clear, actionable concepts.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's hard to see how they translate into real-world code.
I agree. Those terms are definitely familiar.
Oh, yeah. We've all heard them.
But I think a lot of people, myself included, sometimes struggle to see how it actually works in practice.
Okay, so let's start with inheritance.
Okay.
It's about creating these hierarchies of classes where more specialized classes inherit properties and behaviors. For more general ones, think of it like a family tree.
Okay, so like how a child inherits traits from their parents.
Exactly. In coding, you might have a general class called vehicle, which has properties like wheels, engine, and speed.
Okay, I see. And then you could have more specialized classes like car, truck, and motorcycle that inherit those properties from the vehicle class.
So each of those specialized classes wouldn't have to redefine those basic properties.
They get them for free.
They just inherit them.
Exactly. And then they can add their own unique properties and behaviors.
Okay.
So a car might have doors, a truck might have cargo capacity, and a motorcycle might have handlebars.
Gotcha. So inheritance helps you write more efficient and organized code.
It does.
By reusing those existing structures.
Makes everything cleaner.
It does. Okay, now let's talk about polymorphism.
Okay.
Which literally means many forms.
Sounds scary, but it's not.
It always sounds a bit intimidating, I'll admit.
I know, but it's really not as complicated as it sounds.
Okay.
Basically, polymorphism means that a single object can take on different forms.
Okay.
Depending on the context. Think of it like an actor playing different roles.
So the actor is the same person, but their behavior changes.
Depending on the character they're playing.
Perfect analogy in coding. You might have a shape class.
Okay.
With a method called draw.
Okay.
But different shapes, circles, squares, triangles, would need to be drawn differently.
Makes sense.
So each shape would have its own version of the draw method.
Yeah.
Even though they all inherit it from the shape class.
So that's polymorphism in action.
It's all about flexibility.
It allows you to write more flexible and adaptable code.
And that's what we want.
Exactly. Okay. And then there are design patterns, which I always think of as like pre-built blueprints.
I love that analogy, blueprint.
For solving common coding problems.
Yeah, they're like time-tested recipes.
Okay.
For building specific components of your system.
So instead of reinventing the wheel,
right,
every time you need a particular feature, you can use a design pattern.
Exactly.
That's already been proven effective.
Someone's already done the hard work for you.
Exactly. The book covers several common design patterns.
Like the singleton pattern, which ensures that only one instance of a particular class exists.
Okay, like if you're building a game and you only want one instance of the game manager object.
Perfect example. Or the factory pattern.
Okay.
Which provides a centralized way to create objects without specifying the exact class of object that will be created.
So you're abstracting away that object creation process, making your code more flexible and maintainable.
Precisely, design patterns are powerful.
Understanding design patterns can make you a much more efficient and effective developer.
No doubt about it.
Okay, so we've got our object-oriented design principles down.
We do?
But there's one more hurdle we need to clear.
Uh-oh, what's that?
Those dreaded behavioral questions that often come up in coding interviews.
The ones that make you sweat.
The ones that make me sweat even more than the technical ones.
Yeah, they're tough.
How do you even prepare for that kind of thing?
Well, the book offers some great advice.
Okay.
First and foremost, it emphasizes self-awareness. Take some time to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses, your career goals, your values.
So it's like preparing for a first date.
It is.
Know yourself before you try to impress someone else.
Exactly. And then think about specific examples from your experiences that showcase those qualities. Have you overcome any significant challenges?
Okay.
Are there projects you were particularly proud of?
Yeah.
Were there situations where you demonstrated leadership or teamwork?
So it's about having stories ready to tell that highlight your skills and experience in a way that's both genuine and compelling.
And the book provides some useful frameworks for structuring those stories.
Okay, like what?
Like the STAR method.
The STAR method.
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay, so you set the scene, describe the task you were facing, explain the actions you took, and then highlight the results you achieved.
Exactly, a simple but effective way to tell a clear and concise story.
And it keeps the interviewer engaged. And remember, behavioral questions aren't just about bragging about your accomplishment.
Oh, no.
They're also an opportunity to show self-awareness and humility.
They want to see that you're a real person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine to talk about challenges you've faced or mistakes you've made.
Yeah, as long as you can demonstrate what you learned.
Right.
And how you've grown from those experiences.
About being authentic and showing that you're capable of reflection and continuous improvement.
Absolutely. Those are the qualities that make a great engineer.
Exactly. And finally, the book even offers some guidance on negotiating your salary.
Oh, yes.
Once you've received an offer, because knowing how to code is one thing.
It's important, but...
But knowing how to get paid what you're worth is a whole other skill.
It's a crucial skill.
The book provides advice on researching industry standards, understanding your value proposition,
know your worth,
and approaching the negotiation process with confidence.
Don't be afraid to ask for what you deserve.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've covered everything.
I know.
From the fundamentals of data structures and algorithms to the nuances of system design, object-oriented programming, and even the art of answering behavioral questions.
We did it.
And negotiating your salary.
It's been a whirlwind.
It's been a whirlwind tour of cracking the coding interview.
I hope you feel ready.
And I hope you feel equipped with the knowledge and confidence to tackle those interviews head on.
Me too.
I know I do. This book truly is like a gold mine.
It is.
Of insights and practical advice.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is. It's not just about acing the interview.
It's about more than that.
It's about becoming a better software engineer.
That's the ultimate goal.
And that's a journey that never really ends.
It's true.
There's always something new to learn, a new challenge to embrace.
So keep learning, keep practicing, and never stop exploring this fascinating world of code.
And if you ever need a refresher, you know where to find us.
We're always here.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into cracking the coding interview. Good luck with your interviews.
You
got this.